Hello, everybody. Maria DiPoce, your coach, coming to you straight from San Antonio. We just wrapped up day 3, 4. It's the last day. At this point, I feel like I live in San Antonio, and I don't know what day it is, but I am here to talk to you guys about what the takeaways were from this morning session and maybe do a couple interviews, walk around the exhibit hall, and ask some folks what they got out of Mega Camp. But here were my biggest takeaways. One of the things that one of the panels talked about was MOFIRs, which stands for Make Offer for Immediate Response. One of the things they talked about was when the market shifts, you can't just make offers, you have to make offers for an immediate response. Okay, so we've been talking about MOFIRs forever, but what is a MOFIR? I guess would be the biggest question that I get. So a MOFIR could be something like instant offer for your property. Okay, so we go on a listing appointment, and we're just there to really just put the house on the MLS and put a sign in the yard and pray that it sells, right? Hopefully that's not what you're doing, but that is probably what 80% of real estate agents are doing out there. And this is a little bit of a different way to look at that lead capture component, which is offering an instant offer. Because if you have to think about it, would most sellers rather a instant cash offer or having to put their properties on the MLS? Well, it depends, is the answer to that question, right? Some people don't mind staging, don't mind making repairs and making that property the belle of the ball. And some people, they just want out. And yet we go in with one option and one option only. And then we're surprised why sometimes we don't win the listing. So one of the things they talked about was instant offer. There is a company out there, I don't know a lot about it. Tim Heil actually owns it, started it's called Homeward. I'm going to be finding out more about that for you guys. And really, they talked about narrowing your focus and finding a niche that works for you. And we were actually talking about this yesterday at lunch, where I feel like sometimes we make our market so wide that then we're talking to no one. No one's hearing us because no one specific person identifies with the message that we are actually putting out there in the world. That was my first takeaway. Let's move on to takeaway number 2. All right, so bulletproofing a transaction was the takeaway from the second panel that I was able to listen to. And here's the deal: bulletproofing a transaction actually starts with the relationship we have with the people in our database. Bulletproofing a transaction can be as simple as doing business with people that already like you and trust you and actually want to do business with you. So really be more selective when it comes to who are we working with and making sure we have a really great relationship, because it's not if something is going to go wrong during a transaction, it's when things are going to go wrong in a transaction. The second thing was touching every single person that you have a transaction with every single day. All right, you guys, I've been in business for 20 years and I have never done that. I have never called one of my clients every single day. I urge you to make that part of your system, because I do think a lot of problems could be averted if we were actually talking to our clients every single day. So that was my second takeaway about bulletproofing a transaction. Let's move on to the third takeaway. The third takeaway and the final speaker that we got to listen to today is a gentleman, Sahil Bloom, that wrote a book called The 5 Types of Wealth. And I just so aligned with this message because for the last 8 months, I've been on a quest to make sure that my business and my life actually supported my purpose in this world and not the other way around. And the things that he talked to us about was something that I thought was really cool, which is if you were the main character in a movie of your life, what would the audience be screaming at you right now? And sometimes it's easier said than done, right? Like other people can see it. I always tell my coaching clients when they're like, oh my gosh, I should have seen that coming or I should have known this. No, you can't read the packaging from the inside. You have to have somebody on the outside to give you that perspective. And then really talking about like how we live in a broken scoreboard and how we don't think about time, people, purpose, and health in the right way. One of the things he talked about is who would trade lives with Warren Buffett. And I think Warren is probably in his 90s. Yes, Warren and I are on a first name basis. No one raised their hand in the room. Why? Because he's in his 90s. Why would we want to trade our lives with somebody that's at the end of their life? Most likely, right? It gave you perspective about your time and what that actually means and how we're utilizing that time. So some of the things that I wrote down was you have control over your time, take action around the life that you really want, and winning the battle but losing the war. And that really just stuck with me. How much time are we wasting? Later is just another word for never. Ouch. talked about relationship. We talked about the power of space, and just something that I think we're all familiar with because of the industry we're in, which is when everything is urgent, nothing is urgent. I cannot wait to read his book. Again, the book is called Five Types of Wealth. And it really talks about the fact that maybe we're just chasing the wrong ending. And we need to think about what does that look like for us to chase a different ending and really just the ending that we want overall. That was my recap of day 3. It was a great day. It's been a great mega camp. I'm so glad that you came along with me and watched these videos. Again, my name is Maria DiPoce. I live in Richmond, Virginia. I am a coach. Would love to talk to you if you're interested in getting into coaching. And if you want to book some time with me, just go to booktimewithmaria.com and let's schedule a time to meet and get to know each other better. If you're enjoying this content, please consider commenting or liking this video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye.
I'm Seth Schimmelhorn. I am an agent and investor in Richmond, Virginia, and I love this little pink microphone, first off. But my biggest takeaway is honestly understanding that AI can be used in so many different ways. I've really been working on trying to use it as my strategic thinking partner instead of just another version of Google to get information. And as an investor, one of the things I heard today that this guy does is he utilizes it to plug in different zoning types for properties in certain municipalities and basically asks what all can be done in this type of zoning. And he ends up finding properties where all of a sudden he goes, oh, we could actually build 4 units on that one piece of land. And so he'll go buy it for $1 million, but he can go build 4 units on it with a total sale price of $4.5 million. So it's getting really unique. And what questions can you ask to get the information that you need?
Hi, I'm Sandra Candler from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I love this mega camp. My number one top takeaway was that you can make an impact in a million different ways, and you should take action on that today. And designing every single person's business that I coach and the business that I am leading in alignment with making a bigger difference faster. As a coach, if I was going to give you an actionable item, it would be to follow Sahil Bloom, buy his book, 5 Types of Wealth, and start thinking about as you design your perfect week, are all 5 types of wealth represented on every single week in your month?